Hey, good day to everybody. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Journey. I am currently driving through the city of Marion, Indiana. This is a smaller city. The population is, I want to say the population is about 38,000 people. And the purpose of this video is to give you people an example of smaller communities where you can move to look at houses. I mean there's a lot of people today, there's a lot of people in this day and age. I mean, due to the COVID situation and also due to all the rioting that's been going on in a lot of your larger cities, there's a growing number of Americans that desire to move to smaller communities where neighborhoods are going to be less dense and they're going to be safer, and plus the cost of housing in those areas are going to be lower priced. So, and there's a lot of people that, if they had their way, they would move somewhere out in the country. Purchase a trailer or a house with acres upon acres of land. And unfortunately, many of us don't have the capital to move out in the sticks like that. And there's many people that, due to their jobs, living out in the sticks wouldn't be a sensible thing to do. So with that being said, I'm gonna take you people through several smaller communities here in Indiana and just kind of show you guys what your money can purchase in some of these smaller communities. Now, bear in mind, the neighborhoods I'm going to be going to are going to be older neighborhoods with lower price houses. And when I say lower price houses, I'm talking about houses that are going to be priced at 50 grand or below. Because there's a lot of you that come across this type of a channel, and maybe you're wanting to be a nomad. And as I explained before, some of you are not wanting to be a nomad simply because you want to be a nomad. Some of you are wanting to be a nomad because your finances are low and you're just looking for a super affordable way to exist. You're just looking for a super affordable you're looking for a super affordable means of housing. And then there's some of you that are currently living on the road. You're currently traveling. You're currently doing the nomadic life. Maybe you no longer want to do the nomadic life and you're looking for sticks and bricks. Except you can't find sticks and bricks that are within your price range. And then there's some of you that are living the nomadic life full time, and maybe you only want to do it part time. And the other part of the time, you want to live in sticks and bricks. But you may not necessarily want to or be able to spend too much money on sticks and bricks. So for those of you that fit that category, those are the people that these type of videos are going to be for. Now obviously, I don't care who you are, you can watch my content, but for those of you that have not the best financial situation, or maybe you're like me and you're just tightwad. I'm just giving you people some ideas of houses. Oh, here's a little house right here. Take that little house and make it into a tiny home. Here's a little white tiny home right there. It sold a couple of years ago for, I want to say, $20,000. But anyways, I just want to show you people some examples of smaller communities that you can live in where housing prices are relatively low and your neighborhoods are relatively safe and quiet. And also, I'm going to try to pick areas to where you're going to be within an hour of a major city. Now, here in Marion, you're going to be an hour outside of Fort Wayne. You're going to be about an hour and a half from Indianapolis. You're going to be about an hour from some of the suburbs of Indianapolis, and you're going to be about 45 minutes, give or take, from some of the suburbs of Fort Wayne. Now, there's a lot of houses here in Marion that you can purchase. And you can, like, if you don't mind doing a little bit of handyman work, there's houses here in Marion that you can purchase for about $14,000-$15,000 or so, if you don't mind doing a little bit of handyman work. Now, if you're not really trying to do a bunch of repairs, or you want to keep the repairs to a minimum, then I would say for around $40,000 to $50,000, you can come around this type of an area and buy up one of these houses for around 40 grand or so, and the amount of repairs you'll have to do will be minimal. Now, this town, as I said, the population is about 38,000 people. It's a relatively quiet city. I mean, I'll call it a town, but really it's a small city. But this is a relatively quiet, smaller city. I mean, everything that you need is relatively close by. I mean, if you drive 10 minutes in any direction in this city, you can get to wherever you want to get to. I mean, shopping, places to take your vehicle to get serviced, restaurants. You can get all that done within a 10-minute radius or so of most of the neighborhoods here in Marion, Indiana. And by the way, this is the southwest side of Marion. You know what? I take that back. This is the west side of Marion. This is the west side. This is the lower price side of the city. Let this car get by me. And, FYI, I mean, in order to find a home in this price range that I'm discussing, and in order to find a home in a community like this, you do not have to come here to Indiana or come here to the Midwest. I mean, there are plenty of places down south where you can go and you can purchase your home for around that 20 some to $50,000 price range and still be in a relatively safe and quiet neighborhood. I mean, there are plenty of places down south that you can go and do the same thing as what I'm showing you here in Indiana. So don't think you have to come up here to the boring Midwest and deal with cold winters to be able to buy these type of houses and be in these type of communities. I mean, there's communities like this all over the South. For those of you that desire to live in a climate that's a little warmer and a little more sun. I mean, I just happen to be in Indiana at this point, so that's the reason why this video is gonna be about smaller communities here in Indiana. If I was in Alabama, I would have been doing more videos in Alabama. Now, and I will also say that in many of these smaller communities, and again, there's a lot of smaller communities like this in the South, but in many of these smaller communities, you're gonna find that a lot of these lower priced properties have been on the market for a substantial amount of time. I mean, I've seen houses around here in Marion that have been on the market for over a year. So if you come across a property that's priced at, let's say, $35,000, and then you see it's been on the market for over a year, or it's been on the market for 6 months or something like that, I mean, implement some negotiation skills. I mean, if the house is priced at $35,000 and clearly no one has purchased it after several months, you can probably grab up that $35,000 house for around, I mean, you can probably grab it for 20 some thousand dollars. Like if they're asking 35, when you put your bid in, put it in for 25 and see what happens. The worst that could happen is that the seller can tell you no, and then 9 times out of 10, if they say no, they're gonna come back with a counter offer. And if you don't like their counter offer, you can tell them no, and you can give a counter offer to that offer. And eventually, if the seller's got some sense and they want to sell that property, they're gonna sell that property for close to the price that you're willing to pay. And then there's going to be times where sellers are going to be stubborn as hell, and you're not going to, and you might want the house real bad, but you're not going to be able to buy it because either A, they're going to charge you a price that you're not going to be able to afford, or B, they're going to charge you a price that's not going to be logical to pay. I mean, that's happened to me several times when I was out here looking for real estate. I mean, it's just part of the game. Now up here in Indiana, as some of you might be able to see, a lot of the houses here in Indiana and a lot of your smaller communities here in Indiana are going to be a little closer in together, and they're going to also be a little bigger in comparison to many of the houses located in Alabama. Because a lot of these little smaller cities here in Indiana used to be ex-industrial cities. Like here in like Marion used to be an industrial city. So that's the reason why in many of these smaller cities here in Indiana, you're gonna see a lot of these houses closer in together. Because a lot of these houses were built bearing in mind all the immigrants that moved here to the United States to work these factory jobs that once upon a time used to be in these type of cities. Alright people, I don't want this video getting too long, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here, and I will see you on the next video.